Okay, another decision we can make, we need to make sometimes, is whether to sell our product as it is or process it further. So this could be anything from, wood. If you're manufacturing logs, is it worth it to plank it or make it, smooth or builder grade? If you have apples, do you just sell the apples? Do you sell apple slices? Do you sell apple juice? Do you sell apple sauce? All these things would be different decisions to make as far as your processing. You want to look at how much additional revenue you're going to receive if you do manufacture further, and how much additional cost is going to be incurred, and compare the two, relevant costs and relevant revenues. So this case here, this example we have here, Jack's Lumberyard receives 8,000 large trees each period that it subsequently processes into rough logs by stripping off the tree bark and leaves. One tree equals one log. Jack's then must decide whether to sell its rough logs used for like log cabin construction or to process them further into refined lumber for regular use in construction and framing. Jack normally sells the log for a price of $495 per unit. It's an important number. It's $495 per log, which is the unit. This is the price per log. And then it says that we can, alternatively, they can be processed further into 800 board feet of lumber at an additional cost of 15 cents per board foot. So 800 board feet, if it's processed further, additional processing cost .15, that's important to label, per board foot. And then it says the selling price, the lumber selling price per board foot is 0.75. Okay. So the first question this problem asks is, what is the contribution to income for selling these logs for log cabin construction rather than processing them further? So basically at 495 and but I have 8,000, so it's a number of trees, really the number of logs as well, as they said in the problem. So the amount that the logs themselves would contribute, revenue from logs, is going to be simply the 8,000 trees times, because that's also the number of logs, times the price per log of $495. So that gives me $3,960,000 as a revenue I'm going to get just from the logs without processing them further. What is the contribution to income from processing the logs further? So I only want to look at relevant costs. They didn't give us any fixed or anything here, so I'm not really worried about that. So what I need to figure out is, well, how much can I sell these for? I need to figure out what the relevant revenue is. So relevant revenue. And I also need to figure out what the relevant cost from processing further is. And then I'll subtract those two to get what my relevant income from processing further is going to be. Okay, so the relevant revenue, it says that each log can be processed into 800 board feet. So that means 8,000 boards, or 8,000 logs, excuse me, times 800 board feet will give me the total number of board feet. And then I can sell those for 75 cents per board foot. So my relevant revenue is going to be $4.8 million. My relevant cost from processing further is going to be 8,000 trees times the 800 board feet that I can get per tree times the 15% of additional cost per board foot. So 960,000. 960,000. So my income is simply going to be the difference between the two. This is my relevant revenue minus my relevant cost is 3.84 million. So this says, should Jack continue to sell logs or process them further into lumber? So what the two numbers I'm comparing is this 3.96 million. This is 3.96 million here, and this 3.8 million here. And obviously, the idea would be that we want to make more money, not less. So we should not process these further. We should keep them as logs because I make more money leaving them as logs rather than continuing to process them further. Now, we could have other constraints. Let's say I can't sell all the logs, or there could be other things that come into play here. But if I'm just simply saying I can sell all of what I have, and this is my costs and my revenues that are relevant to the decision, this would be how you'd make the decision. And the answer is we would not process further. We would instead just sell them as logs as I had before.